Hello everybody, and welcome to your yoga and functional movement session. Today's practice is going to be a flow session. So we are going to be linking the postures together in a little sequence. What I would ask is that you still work with good form and alignment and listen to the detail, because the instructions and the guidance that is given is for your own safety. As always, don't do anything that's not comfortable for you, and if that means just taking a child's pose or sitting out, then do. What I usually suggest with these videos is that you maybe watch them first so you've got an idea of what's coming, and you can then adjust accordingly to suit you. So we are going to start in our child's pose, a nice soft passive child's pose to begin. And I've got my mat lengthways with the narrow end against the wall. I've also got a block and a brick to hand. So if you want to have some equipment nearby, that could be handy as well, just for certain postures that we may do. So coming into your child's pose. So we're going to take the knees wide, sit the buttocks back towards the heels. And my knees are just to my outer hip distance apart. I'm not going so wide that I collapse in the middle, but at the same time, I want to be able to relax the gut and the abdominal region as I extend forward. So rooting the buttocks down towards the heels, pressing the tops of the feet into the floor. Imagine there's a little invisible thread between the ankle bones, and it's pulling together the ankle bones. So your feet are not splaying out. You're kind of trying to stay on the very center of the front leg. As you bring your hands forward, feel there's a lifting up from the pelvis to the navel, not an anterior tilt and pushing down. So I want to keep this lower back region filled out. So as I walk my hands forward, when I say passive, I mean the arms are going to be passive. So once you take your hands forward, relax the elbows, draw the forehead to either a block or to the ground. If your buttocks lift away from the heels, then maybe sit the bottom down onto the heels and then allow the forehead to rest on the two hands made into fists, like so. So basically, we're just looking to rest the head. The more you do this practice, the more you get used to what you need in your practice to help you within these postures. So taking a couple of breaths here in your child's pose, feeling the stomach area soft and full, feeling the back of the body broadening out. Feel the connection as you press down through the front of the ankles and from the big toe to the little. Feel the weight distributed evenly between the right leg and the left. And feel that the tailbone is moving away from the back of the head. So the skin on the back of the body moves from the shoulders to the buttocks and down, and the skin on the front of the body moves from the pubic bone upwards to the lower ribs, from the lower ribs to the chest, to the top of the shoulders, or to the shoulder tops. Swallow, release the throat, let the eyes rest in the sockets. Let the forehead release to the ground or support. Let the breath start to smooth itself out as you quieten yourself down from the day. Feeling the breath coming in through the nostrils and feeling the breath releasing through the nostrils. The arms soft to begin. Good. Now let the eyes softly open. Just allow the head to lift and look forward. And now we're going to see if we can straighten our arms fully and keep the underside of your arms away from the ground. So press down into the hands and push out so you can feel this engagement from your shoulder blades to your fingertips. And just bring the ears down in line with your upper arms. Feel there's a pushing forward with the hands and a rooting down through the buttocks. Pressing into the tops of the feet, opening up through the ankle joints and allowing the big toe and the little toe on each foot to press into the mat. So feel your back is lengthening out now. So you're lengthening from the hips to the armpits, moving the front ribs forward, feeling the abdominal region soft and free. Maybe your outer ribs are connecting with your inner thighs. Now coming up onto your hands and knees, and just placing the knees underneath the hips and bringing your hands to a line underneath your shoulders. So just doing a little cat-cow. So we are going to go into an anterior tilt here with your pelvic bowl. So as you press down and out through your hands and protract through your shoulder blades, just allow the pelvic bowl to tilt at the front and your buttocks are lifting to the ceiling. But don't overdo this. Don't slop and drop into it. Feel there's an extension from the rim of the pelvic bowl through the front ribs to the chest. And you're keeping length in the back body. So you're not lengthening out the front and shortening the back. Yes, there is a change in position, but we're not collapsing. Keep the gaze down to begin. Press through the tops of the feet. Keep that little invisible thread between the ankle bones, connecting them together. And then lift the head, take the gaze forward to begin. And once the head's level and the shoulder blades are moving away from the back of the skull, let the eyes and the gaze lift towards the ceiling or towards that space in between the eyebrows. Now as you come into your cat, allow the tailbone to move in the opposite direction. So you're coming into a posterior tilt. As the tailbone moves away, the front of the pelvis lifts towards the ribs and you start to arch your back to the ceiling, lastly bringing the head down and in. So move from the pelvis rather than from the head. Feel now you're arching the spine, you're pushing down and out through the hands, you're pressing down through the tops of the feet. Now the front body is contracting and the back body is lengthening. And again, inhaling through into your Tadasana, your cow. And then posterior tilt, tailbone down and in, start to pull through into your cat. And again, coming into your cow. And again, moving into your cat. Really letting the spinal column move as the pelvis changes position. And again, into your cow pose, Tadasana. And then arching the spine into your cat. And then come to a neutral pelvis position. Step the hands forward. We're going to take your down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Turn the toes, lift the hips up and back. Again, bent leg approach first to begin, letting your head just hang. Taking a moment here to spread through those fingers, connect from the thumb to the little finger. Equal weight in the little finger side and the thumb side of the wrist. If you lock out your elbows, maybe just soften them a touch. Engage the muscles around the joint. Feel the connection through the shoulder blades. And then start to press the heels back and down as you straighten your legs. If that is for you. If not, if your back is very rounded, stay with your legs bent. As you look up at your lovely legs, connect your thigh muscles at the front onto the femur bones. Feel the back legs broadening out. Feel the front legs lifting up into the crease at the top of the legs. Feel that the pelvis is in neutral so that the front ribs don't collapse forward and the back ribs don't collapse in. Take the gaze to the top edge of the mat, soften the knees, and you can either step or you can do a little jump towards the top edge of your mat. Inhale, lift the head, take the hands to the crease at the top of the legs and come up to stand. Okay, So we're going to start our flow practice now. The first round will be just the basic structure, and we will be doing downward dog to plank or hands and knees, and then down into Cobra, into Bhujangasana. When we do the second round, I will bring in downward dog to plank to upward dog, or some of you will stay with Cobra. And then when we go on to the third round, we will bring in your plank, Chaturanga Dandasana, your falling staff, and then into your upward facing dog, or to the floor into Cobra. So basically just work to your own level. There's different ways of doing a flow sequence, and you need to do what's right for you and where you can hold strong and be stable. Many times this is done fast and furious with people collapsing in and out of these postures, and then they wonder why they get injured. So keep it safe and intelligent, okay? And we're just going to work with it'll be my breath length, so it'll be slow and, graceful in a way, not fast and furious, because you need some time in these postures to feel the postures, to make the little adjustments that you need to. Okay, so don't get too hung up on the breathing, just breathe. Okay, let's begin. So coming to the top edge of the mat and joining the feet together. Let's take a Tadasana. Feel that you connect from the big toes backwards, and the inner heels may connect, the inner ankles stay apart. Again, engage the front thighs to bone. Feel the buttocks moving down away from the back of the head as the back of the body broadens and lengthens. The front of the body with this neutral pelvis just lifts, so the pelvic content is where it needs to be in its pelvic bowl. As your arms lengthen down the sides of the trunk, let your arm bones rest into the sockets. Feel the broadening from the center of the chest to each shoulder head. Draw the head back in line with your spine, chin level. Soften the gaze. Press down into the feet and out slightly. And then feel that drawing in action from the inner thigh, from the inner groin even, to the inner thigh, inner knee, inner ankle bone. Are your fingers engaged and lengthening out? Are the palms spread? So the hands and feet have thousands of nerve endings. They are our points of contact as we move about this world. So many signals are going back and forth from the brain and body. So engage them in your practice. Don't be dull and passive at the feet and the hands. Let the energy transfer into every part of you. Just close your eyes, get a sense of balance in your Tadasana. Breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the nose. Breathing in and breathing out. Letting the eyes softly open. Rotating your arm bones externally outwards. Inhale, lift to ceiling for your Urdhva Hastasana. Rotate the palms forward from the wrists, nothing else. And then coming down into your forward extension, bringing your hands to the floor underneath your shoulders or your hands to your shin bones. Press the hands down and forward, wrap the elbows in. Relax the crown of the head. If you are taking your Uttanasana, your forward fold with your legs bent, that's great. But remember, we want to try and be lengthening the spinal column out, not completely rounding over your legs. So move from the pubic bone to the ribs, to the chest, down through the head, and move the back ribs in. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen into your Ardha Uttanasana, shoulder blades away from the back of the head, lengthening the spine. Exhale, fold and deepen. Those with the hands on the floor, maybe take the hands a little bit further back, so heel of hands lines up with the heels of the feet. Head moving closer to the shin bones. Lift the buttock bones to the ceiling. Again, straight leg people. Bend, keep the thigh muscles engaged at all times. Front thighs contract, back of thighs broaden. Now everybody bending the legs, we're going to take a stride back into your Phalakasana, into your plank. Hold here, stack shoulders over wrists, spread the fingers, press down and out through the hands, protract through the shoulder blades, suck up the front thighs, and move that tailbone away from the back of the head. Now we're lifting the hips into our Adho Mukha Svanasana, pressing the heels back and down, lengthening that spinal column. And then rolling forward. Okay, think about your pelvis as the main part of each posture, the central part. So move from the pelvis. Keep the legs active as you roll through, sending the hips towards the elbows into your Phalakasana again. Now lower the knees, lower the pelvis, bend the arms, take a little bit of weight as you release to the ground and come into a half cobra. So legs together, feet pressing flat, lift the sternum bone through and forward, shoulders back and down, elbows in. Chin level, looking forward, gaze slightly down. Engage from those legs. Press the pelvis into the ground. So you're lengthening your spine, not shortening and contracting. Release down. Now you have an option to push up onto your hands and knees or turn the toes, push up to plank and back into your downward facing dog. Hold here for a couple of breaths. Now keeping your left foot where it is, we are going to raise your right leg into your Eka Pada, Adho Mukha Svanasana, your one leg down dog. Now feel that the pelvis stays in neutral, you don't get that dipping action at the front and your front ribs spilling out. Feel and contract through the buttocks as you lift that leg a little higher without turning. Yes, you can turn it out to the side and you will get a leg that goes a lot higher, but it will be very sloppy and you'll collapse. So control the movement. Dorsiflex the foot, push the heel to the wall behind you. Now drawing that knee through, bringing the foot in between the hands and dropping that back leg down to come into your Anjani Asana setup, low lunge. Press the top of the left foot into the floor, pull the inner ankle joint across to the center line of the mat. Inhale, take your arms to the ceiling, Urdhva Hastasana arms. So move the tailbone away from the back of the head, keep the pelvic bowl level. Press down into that front foot and engage fully. So the left side of your pelvis is moving forward, the right side is drawing back. Now lift the sternum bone, draw the chin back and in and look up towards the ceiling, lengthening through those fingertips. Drawing the hands down onto the ground, turn the back toes, straighten that leg, step back to plank, hips to ceiling, downward dog. Now when you're swinging that leg through, folks, you may find it gets stuck somewhere along route. So you can always feed it through with your hand or you could always drop to the knees and step forward. Okay, right foot, keep it as it is. Raise the left leg to the ceiling, heel up, toes down. Keep the hips parallel. Drawing that left foot in between the hands, bringing the right knee down, top of right foot to floor, pull inner ankle joint across. So you're working from the inner groin to the inner knee to the inner ankle bone. Circle the arms to the ceiling into your Anjani Asana, lifting the sternum bone, tilting slightly back, tailbone down and in, drawing the right hip forward, the left hip back, taking the head up and back, gazing up at that space in between the hands. Softening down those front ribs. Then bringing the hands to the floor, turn the back toes under and take that leg back into plank, hips to ceiling, downward dog. Inhale, come forward into your Phalakasana. Lower the knees, the pelvis to the ground, bend the arms and hold here. Inhale, take your breath, coming up into your half cobra. Some of you may come a little higher, bringing the front ribs off the mat. Lifting the sternum bone, keep the pubic bone down, come into your full Bhujangasana. Now, are your legs switched on, folks, or have they gone to sleep? Can you lengthen into your big toe? Can you resist clenching the buttocks? Just allow them to be switched on. Keep the pubic bone down. Feel the front ribs drawing in as you apply that neutral pelvis. And then release all the way forward and down. Flip the toes, push to hands and knees or back into plank. Hips to ceiling, downward facing dog. Look towards your hands, soften the knees, step or jump towards the top edge of the mat, come into your forward fold. Halfway lift and lengthen, circle the arms to the ceiling, palms together at the top, bring the hands down into the centre of the chest. And then bring your arms down by the sides. So when we jump or step forward, if you find that you've landed about here, that's perfectly fine. Finish the sequence off and then step forward. Don't try to cover that distance if you're not ready for it. We're also going to add into this as well, was when we've done our step through lunge, instead of stepping back into plank, we're going to swing that leg all the way back into your one leg down dog lift. Okay, so let's move on. So I'm going to add a few things in now. So the kind of, if you think that's your basic framework, I'm going to start adding things in, adding different shapes in to kind of fill out this yoga sandwich that we've got going on. All right, so Tadasana, top edge of your mat. Inhale, circle arms to ceiling. Palms forward, coming down into Uttanasana. Halfway lift and lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold and deepen. Bend the legs, let's stride back into your plank. And we are taking our hips into our downward facing dog to begin, setting it all up. Letting the head hang. Coming forward into your plank, lowering your knees, your pelvis, your chest to the floor. Inhale, lifting and lengthening into your Bhujangasana, half or full. So remember, we are lengthening the spine here. We are keeping the front of the pelvis on the floor. We are pressing into those legs. Pull forward as you release. Flip the toes, either push to hands and knees or push to plank, straight up. Back into your downward facing dog. Here we go again, standing on your left leg, raising your right leg to the ceiling. Ekapada, Adho Mukha Svanasana, keeping pelvis to neutral and level with the ground. Not turning that lifted leg out and cheating. Step your right foot through, place it in between your hands, drop your back knee, top of back foot to floor, circle arms to ceiling, Anjani Asana. So we're going to bring our hands to the floor, folks, here, and we're going to do a little walk back. So we're walking back and we're going to see if we can straighten this front leg. Dorsiflex the foot, pull toes to shin bone, and feel you can drop your right buttock down in line with the left. So the tendency here is to lift the right buttock and push it out to the side. So see if you can rotate it, that leg bone into its socket. Lift stay on the fingertips, lift the chest. So my left buttock has moved back. It's more sort of over the left calf. Top of left foot is on the ground. Just lift through the sternum. Now we're going to do a little rotation of your leg bone in its socket. So we're going to rotate your right leg bone outwards without moving the hips. And then we're going to rotate through the back of the heel and draw that leg bone inwards without lifting the hips. So resist that lift of the right side of your pelvis. Rotate it out externally. Rotate it inward. Inward rotation. Rotate it out. Rotate it inward. Hold center. Now some of you may be able to go a little deeper. So you're going to walk your hands forward. Keep the length through the front body. Close the gap between the tummy and the thigh, the chest towards the knee, and then bring the head down towards that shin bone. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Move your hands back. Place your right foot down as you move your weight forward and hold here. Everybody bringing the hands in line with the front foot and just making sure that that left knee is back far enough so you've got that deep lunge position. Taking your left hand underneath your left shoulder and bringing your right hand onto the center of your lower back. And we want to keep the pelvic bowl level here. Turn the back toes under, straighten that leg. Stack right knee over right ankle joint. And then take a breath in and rotate your left ribs and left side of chest towards your inner right knee. Roll your right knee back. You can turn your head with you. Keep squeezing this right buttock back and in. And then some of us can take our right arm to the ceiling and lengthen into those fingertips. So be very careful you're not dropping your left side of your pelvis here, and just check on your right knee. Is it over your ankle joint? Good. Now bring that right hand down, and we're going to take that right leg all the way back into one leg down dog. Heel up, toes down. Just adjust your downward dog to the right size that fits you, and then lower that right leg down. Okay, come forward into your plank. Lower your knees, your chest and pelvis to the ground. Chin, maybe just do a little touch. Then inhale, peel up to Adho Bhujangasana, or some of us going a little higher into full Bhujangasana. Wrapping the elbows in towards the outer ribs, pressing the pubic bone down. Fire up those legs, folks. Pull forward to release. Flip the toes under. Push to plank or hands and knees, and come back into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Okay, repeating that on the left side. So let's raise your left leg to the ceiling as you stand on the right into your Ekapada Adho Mukha Svanasana. Keep the pelvis from spilling at the front. Keep that neutral position. Swinging that leg through, dropping the foot between the hands, back knee down, set up for your Anjali Asana, and circle to ceiling. So again, just be aware that the left side of the pelvis isn't racing ahead of the right. Feel the connection of your back foot lengthening through your front ankle joint. Lift the sternum bone, feel the little back extension, but don't collapse. Tilt the head back and look up at that space in between the hands. Drawing the hands down either side of your front foot. Now, as we did before, we're going to ease our body weight back, straighten out this left leg. So if your hands come all the way back towards your outer knee, this usually gives you room to straighten your extended left leg. And right buttock has gone beyond the right knee. So I'm not sat on the right heel, but the buttocks moving in that direction. Now, can you dorsiflex this left foot? Pull the toes to your shin bones. Fire up the left thigh. Let's do this external rotation. So keep the leg bone firm in its socket as you rotate it outwards. Then roll across the back of the heel, rotate it inwards. Don't be tempted to lift the left buttock outwards. And again, roll outwards. Roll inwards. So you're just feeling the connection of your leg bone in its socket. And roll outwards. And roll inwards. And come back to center. Again, if you want to go a little deeper, extend the arms forward. I like to stay on my fingertips so I don't collapse down. Bring the chest forward and come into the pose a little deeper. Lifting the head, walk the hands back, plant that left foot down, stack the left knee, come back into your lunge, making sure that right knee is back far enough so you are in this lunge position. Keep your right hand underneath your right shoulder, place your left hand on your lower back. So don't drop to the floor, push away from the floor, my friends. Turn the back toes under, straighten that back leg, line up, left hip, left knee, left ankle joint. Work from the inner groin to the inner ankle. Take a breath in, move your right side of your chest towards your inner left knee. And once your shoulder head starts to rotate back, you have the freedom to release your top arm and maybe take your gaze to the back of the thumb. Can you keep your head in line with your spine as well? Bringing that arm all the way down. And then when you're ready, take your left leg all the way back into your Adho Mukha Svanasana with the leg lifted. Lowering that leg down, joining the feet, hip distance apart, onto the mat. Let's take one more little flow through. Come forward into your plank. Lower knees, pelvis, chest, chin to floor. Inhale, lift into your Adho Bhujangasana or your full. Exhale, releasing down. Moving the hands back, turning the toes, pushing to plank or hands and knees into your downward dog. Looking towards the top edge of the mat, soften those knees, take a step or a little jump forward and come into your forward fold. Halfway lift and lengthen. Circle the arms around and up, palms together at the top, and bring the hands to the center of the chest. And then release. Okay, so that was round 2. So on the next round, you can stay with plank, downward dog, plank to cobra, or we go downward dog, plank, upward dog. So I'm probably going to try and give the instruction for both, but you just work to your own measure. Okay, so if you're not sure, just stick with what you're doing. Okay, so coming to the top edge of the mat, I'm also going to add in some other postures now, maybe a little bit of standing work. So turning the palms out, inhale, circle to ceiling. Palms forward, come into your Uttanasana. Legs bent, legs straight, hands to floor, shin bone, so your choice. Halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold and deepen. Bend the legs, stride back into your plank. Phalakasana, setting up, hips to ceiling, downward facing dog. Okay, so remember from here, we're going to do plank. Some of you will lower to the ground and take a cobra, or some of you will come with me into your upward facing dog. Notice this is full up dog, not half, no knees on the floor. If you can't hold the weight, keep with cobra. Pelvis down, legs down. Inhale, coming through into your plank. If you're coming into your Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, shunt shoulders towards your knuckles. Bring your hips down, tailbone away from the back of the head. Lift the sternum bone through, shoulders back and down. Draw the chin in, tilt the head back. Keep a small space at the back of the neck. So don't collapse the head into the top of the back region. If you want to come onto the tops of the feet, do it, but keep the shin bones away from the floor, my friends. Turning the toes, everybody making the way back into the downward facing dog. Okay, standing on your left leg, raising your right leg to the ceiling, heel up, toes down, leg extended, dorsiflex the foot, hips parallel with the mat. Draw that foot through into your step through lunge, drop your back knee, top of back foot to floor, circle arms to ceiling, into your Anjali Asana, low lunge hold. Now as you bring your hands down, either side of that front foot, I want you to move now your right hand towards the right big toe side of your foot. Turn the back toes under, straighten that leg, drop your left foot onto its big toe side and just step it in about 15 degrees. Keep the hips low. Now keeping your right hand where it is, take your left arm to the ceiling, and as you look down, stack your right knee over your right ankle joint and feel that there's a lightness in your right hand. As you press into the floor, but you're actually moving your body weight away from the ground. Drop your right buttock a little deeper. Extend that left arm. Now maybe turn the head and look up to the back of the left thumb, drawing that chin down and in a little. Back leg super, super strong. Push into the little toe side of your back foot. Now from here, folks, we're coming up to full standing. So take a breath in, ground through your left foot, pull yourself up to full standing and into Trikonasana setup. So if you need to, just shuffle your right foot slightly forward so you're lining up the heel of your right foot with the instep of your back foot. Then extend out through the arms. So contract the front thighs. Now keep your top and tail facing forward to the wide edge of your mat. Engage through the arms. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, extend over your right thigh. Really feel the connection through your back leg though. Don't let yourself collapse into this front hip. Think about extending forward rather than down. Turn the palms towards me and bring the back of the right hand down on that inner calf or knee. Press. Keep your nose tip in line with your shin bone as best you can. Rotate that right buttock back and down and in, and then draw the chin in and pivot the head to look up to the left thumb. And just check where this left arm is. It could be either flying back or leaning forward or hanging about here. So can you do the work to bring that top hand in line with your shoulders? At the same time, folks, we're pressing down into the feet. We're drawing up into the knees, into the thighs. Everything is working from the ground upwards. Push into your back foot, come all the way up, hold here. Now, Virabhadrasana 2, bending your front leg, okay? Keep your pelvis forward towards the wide edges of the mat. Take a look at your position. So I'm just checking my front knee, making sure my knee doesn't go over my ankle joint. I'm checking if my pelvis has dropped on the right side. So I'm moving in through the left side, pulling up through the right, keeping this front body engaged as the buttocks move down and in, tailbone away from the back of the head. Now pivot the head to look towards your right middle finger. Press into your left leg, bend from the back of the right knee. So Virabhadrasana 2 in reverse. Rotate your arms to face the ceiling. Keep the gaze to that right finger to begin. And tilt back. Left hand to back of left thigh, right arm coming up and over towards your ear. Keep your navel and chest facing the wide edge of your mat. And back into your Virabhadrasana 2, gazing along. Okay, a variation of Parsvakonasana. Extend forward, sideways angle. Bring the elbow to mid-thigh. Bring the left arm up and over by your ear. Can you drop a little deeper into your right hip, but at the same time pushing to the left? And here's a little Maxine move. Take your right arm and extend it, both arms away equally. Smile and breathe, folks. Rotate, turn, look up to the ceiling. And then come all the way back to standing. Rotate your right leg forward. So you're facing the wide edge of your mat. Fold and hold the elbow joints. Press down and out through the feet. Contract in through the inner thighs. Lift those arms up and come into your forward extension with your legs wide and straight. Bringing the elbows down to hang, keeping hold of the crease of the elbows. Keep those front thighs connected, pulling up into the groin, into the pelvis region, kneecaps lifting, pressing down and out through the feet, drawing in through those inner legs. Take the hands to the crease at the top of the legs, come up halfway, fire up from the feet, the knees, the thighs, and then come up all the way to standing. Excellent. Extend those arms out. So from here, rotate your left leg in a good 60 degrees. And we're going to turn the right leg to the top edge of the mat, rotating the hips, bringing the arms up, just shuffling that right foot over to the right side of the mat. So you've got this squaring up of the hips to the top edge, pressing down through that right big toe, pressing down through your left leg. Let's bend that right leg for your Virabhadrasana 1. So again, be careful not to slop and drop and push out through these front ribs, sucking through the front ribs, tailbone away from the back of the head. Now rotate those palms forward, bring your hands to the floor, pivot on that back leg and send your right leg all the way back to the ceiling into your Ekapada Adho Mukha Svanasana. Lower that leg to the ground. And let's take a little rest here as we drop onto the knees, sit back onto the heels and rest the head onto the mat, softening into your child's pose. And just having a few quiet breaths there, folks. Remembering this is a pose you can take whenever you feel it's necessary for you. Just brings you back, grounds you. Okay. Inhale, lift the head, look forward. Come up onto your hands and knees. Turn the toes into your Adho Mukha Svanasana. Let's take another little flow through. Come forward to plank. Remember, lower to the ground to Cobra or shoulders to knuckles. Move the pelvis down to the back of the wrist. Come into your Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, keeping those legs away from the floor. Lift up away from the ground, my friends. Feel the front thighs connected onto the tops of the feet if you wish. Engaging into the tops of those feet. Inner ankles stay level, not rolling in or out. Take the gaze up to the ceiling. Small space at the back of the neck. Everyone lifting into the back extension. And then coming back through to your downward dog. Okay, standing on your right leg, raise your left leg to the ceiling, heel up, toes down, hips parallel with the mat. Stepping into your Anjaneyasana as you drop down, circle arms to ceiling, top of back foot engages. Again, check in on the hips, don't let one side raise the head of the other. Lift the sternum bone, extend into the fingertips. As you bring your hands down to the floor, move your left hand by the left big toe side of your foot. Hold here. Turn your right toes under, straighten your leg. Drop onto the big toe side of your foot. See here if you can line up the heel and instep. So maybe you just move your right foot a little bit further back towards the left side of your mat. Now, nice deep bend into your front leg as your left knee stacks over your left ankle joint. Circle your right arm to the ceiling and extend and lengthen. Tailbone away from the back of the skull. Pivot the head, draw the chin in, turn to look up to the back of the right thumb. Is that back leg switched on, folks? Can we make it active? Can we make it our guru leg? Now push into the back heel, draw yourself up for your Trikonasana setup. So again, your hips and chest face the wide edge of your mat. Adjust your front foot accordingly so it can be in line with the instep of your back foot. Engage the arms from shoulders to fingertips. And then even further from chest to shoulders to fingertips. Take the gaze towards your left middle finger. Extend over that left thigh. Don't collapse. Keep a space. Don't ram the left leg bone in its socket. Bring the hand down as you turn the palms forward. Connect with the inner knee, inner thigh, or inner shin bone. Oh, sorry, not inner leg, inner lower leg. Rotate, turn, look up to the top hand. So again, feel the connection. What's happening at the back? Have we got a nice filled out back? Or are we pushing our hips forward and our bottom back? So keep this neutral pelvis position. Inhale, come up, full standing. Virabhadrasana 2, look along that left arm. Keep the pelvis to the wide edge of the mat and come down into that bent leg position, checking the position of your front knee. So again, sometimes this left knee will swing forward, that's perfectly fine, let that happen. We learn to rotate this left leg in its socket. Check the position of your hips, so move into the right side to lift up out to the left. Extend those fingertips, gaze softly towards your left middle finger. Shoulders down away from the ears. So reverse Virabhadrasana 2. Rotate your arms to the ceiling. Take the back of your right hand to your outer right thigh. Lift the left arm up. Keep it coming. Don't go all ballerina on me. Keep these arms straight and strong. Keep the navel facing the wide edge of the mat. Just take the gaze up and forward. Come back to Virabhadrasana 2. Extend over that left thigh. Bring the elbow to thigh, right arm up and over by the ear. So a variation of your Parsvakonasana. Get a little deeper into that left leg, push into the right foot. Brace that right leg. Then extend the left arm, work both arms together. This is optional. Rotate the head, look up towards the ceiling. And then when you're ready, come all the way back. Turn the left foot forward. Line those feet up. Hold your elbow joints. Inhale, lift and lengthen. So you're not collapsing down here, folks. You're lifting up. Press down and out through the feet. Connect in through those inner thighs. And tilt forward into your wide leg forward fold. Keeping the pelvis in neutral. all the way down to your measure. Have a few breaths. So even though this is your rest, you're still working in the pose. Your thigh muscles are contracted at the front to broaden out the back legs. The feet are active, spreading from the big toe to the little. The inner ankles, the inner edges of your feet are lifting up without rolling into the little toe side of each foot. So there's an active, it's like they're sucking up from the floor, pulling up the inner arches. Okay, take the hands to the crease at the top of the legs, lift up halfway, fire it up from the feet, the knees, the thighs, get those outer hips switched on, come up to your full standing. Good, extend the arms out, rotate your right leg, back foot in 60 degrees. Rotate your arms to the ceiling and then turn this left leg a full 90 and line up now heel to heel. Give yourself a chance to rotate your right hip forward, draw back on the left, Virabhadrasana 1. Take your deep bend on the front leg, lift into the fingertips, tailbone down and in. Again, check that the left side isn't racing ahead of the right side of the pelvis. Take the head back if you wish, look up at that space in between the hands. And then bring your hands to the floor, chest to thigh. You could drop your back knee here if you wish, or pick up the hips, send that leg back into your one leg down dog. Lowering to the ground, separating those feet. And again, just coming down onto your knees to take a little respite in your child's pose. Softening back, releasing the arms, bringing the head down and in. Take a few quiet breaths there, folks. Good. Inhale, lift the head. Come back into your downward facing dog. We're going to take one more little flow through and bringing it back to standing. Come forward to plank, either lower to the ground for your Cobra or shunt shoulders to knuckles. Bring hips to the back of the arms. Lift the chest through. Come into your Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Keep a small space at the back of the neck. Lift your head up and back. Turn the toes, take your hips to the ceiling, everyone coming back into the downward facing dog. Looking forward, bend the knees, either step, skip or jump to the top edge of the mat. Come into your forward extension, Uttanasana. Legs bent or legs straight, feet together if you can. Hands to the legs or hands to the floor. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Circle to ceiling, palms together at the top, and bring your hands down into the center of the chest. Have a few breaths. And release. Okay, so third round, we're going to bring in your downward dog, plank, Chaturanga Dandasana, four-limb staff, making sure you have this right angle position with your arms. You don't drop your shoulders below your elbow joints. Keep these shoulders engaged from the serratus anterior into the shoulder blade, and choose to lower with control into your floor position to push up into Cobra, or push through into your upward facing dog. If you're new to this, you might have to move a little bit quicker than what I'm doing. So again, the main thing is don't collapse, work to your measure. Okay, so coming back to the top edge of the mat, joining the feet together. Rotate the palms out. Inhale, circle to ceiling. Rotate from the wrist to the fingertips, palms forward. Come into your forward fold. Hands to floor or shin bones. Legs straight or bent. Lengthen the spinal column. Halfway lift and lengthen. Straighten the arms. Take the gaze slightly forward. Lengthen the back. Exhale, fold and deepen. Bend the legs. Now there's some of us who can do a little jump back into your plank, but don't sag the hips. It has to be a strong, defined move. So either step or jump back to your Phalakasana. Then hips to ceiling, downward dog. And whenever you're doing that jump back, the pelvis must be under control and the arms and legs strong to support you. If that ain't happening, leave it out. Okay, so we've got our next flow through. So remember, either to Cobra, there's different back extensions going on, into your upward dog, either by swinging through or bringing in your chaturanga, as I will do now. Come forward into your plank. Take shoulders to knuckles. Lean out there, folks. Come down into your chaturanga and hold if you can. Set it up. Tops of feet, push through into your Urdhva Mukha Svanasana without touching the floor. Upward dog or lower into your Cobra. Turn the toes, hips to ceiling. Downward facing dog. Stepping on your left leg, raising your right leg to the ceiling, heel up, toes down. Full leg extension, no dippy backs. Squeeze and contract through your outer glute and lift that leg a little higher. Connect from the inner groin to the inner ankle bone. When you're ready, stepping that right foot in between your hands, dropping your back knee down, circling into your Anjani Asana. And bringing your hands down either side of your right foot. From here, lift the hips, everyone, step back into your Phalakasana. And just hold here. Check that your shoulders and your wrists are aligned. Protract those shoulder blades, engage the thighs, pull the head back in line with the spine. So we're going to come down into a low plank here. So take yourself onto your right elbow, then your left, and hold here. Try to keep the hands apart. Feel that the shoulders, hips, and ankle joints are in line. The chin is down and in. The front thighs are contracted, and you're breathing. Try not to sag in the middle. Bring those hips down. Don't miss the joy spot. Now push up on your right, then your left, and into your downward dog. Hold there. Again, come forward into plank. This time we're going to go with the left side. So whatever you set up here should transition into your low plank. So get it all switched on. Come down onto your left elbow, then your right. Hold. Line it up. Keep your pelvis in neutral. Press down and out through your arms and your hands, but squeeze in with those arm bones into the sockets. Breathe. Keep the pelvis in neutral. Contract the front thighs. Push into the feet. Use them. Get ready, folks. Push up on your left and the right into your downward dog. And then come down onto the knees. Take a little respite in your child's pose. I'm going to encourage you this time to take your hands back. Back of hands on floor, palms up. Bring your head to the floor. And soften it down. Have a little moment there. All right, inhale, lift the head. Let's come back to our downward dog. Take our next little flow through. Turn the toes, hips to ceiling. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Coming through to your level of flow. Come through to Phalakasana, plank. Shunt shoulders to knuckles or leave that out and lower to the floor for Cobra. Come through into your Chaturanga Dandasana. Shoulders back, elbows just touching the outer ribs. Push through into your Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Or come up into your Cobra. Turn the toes, take the hips to the ceiling, downward facing dog. Raise your left leg to the ceiling, heel up, toes down. Keep the contraction through the outer pelvic muscles. Keep the front pelvis lifting towards the navel and those front ribs in. And then when you're ready, folks, stepping through, dropping your back knee down and taking your arms to the ceiling into your Anjani Asana. So really feel the lifting up here, not the dropping down and collapsing. It's transferring your weight up from the pelvis and transferring your weight from the pelvis to your feet. Bringing your hands down either side of your right foot. stepping back into your plank and hips to ceiling downward dog. Just to give me a little moment here to explain what's about to happen. So we're going to come back into plank and we're going to do a little move where we draw our front knee, or draw the knee, towards the back of the front arm. So right knee to right elbow. And we're going to do this little action of squeezing up and down. If it doesn't reach, still do the same action. But remember, you want to make sure your pelvis is in that little posterior tilt. So you're lifting up at the front, down at the back. So it drives the knee forward. It flexes the knee towards the trunk. So come forward into plank. From here, keep the connection with your left leg. Press down and out through your hands, protract through the shoulder blades. Draw your right knee forward, tailbone down in and suck it up to the back of your arm. Suck it up as high as you can and then just relax it a little, just a little bit, an inch it drops down, then pull it up and relax it down. Nothing else moving. Draw it up, flex to trunk, lower down. 2 more, lower, pull it up, lower it down. 1 more time, pull it up, lower it down, step back, hips to ceiling, downward dog. You should have felt a very joyful contraction down the right side of your abdominal region. Lengthen it out here. Breathe out the contraction. Again, drive from the pelvis, push through the feet, contract your front thighs, come back into your Phalakasana. Okay, this time again. So you want your hips just slightly lower the shoulders. Draw your left knee up towards the back, so squeeze it up and in. Squeeze the heel to your buttock. Lower that leg down a touch. Pull it up a touch. Lower it down. Pull it up. Lower it down, nothing else moving. Pull it up. Lower it down. Pull it up. 1 more time down. 1 more time up. Release, step back. Hips to ceiling, down dog. I think you might have got an extra one there. Come down onto the knees and take your soft, passive child's pose. Release, head to floor. Ooh, let that all go, folks. Soften and relax the abdominal region. Soften and relax the facial muscles. Let the breath soften itself out. All right, last little flow section. Coming all the way up onto your hands and knees. Turn the toes, hips to ceiling, into a downward facing dog. So to finish off this little section here, I'm going to give you an opportunity to do 3 of your flow sections. So you could do Cobra and upward dog, or you could do, one of each. Just choose your level. I'm going to stick with Chaturanga Dandasana to Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, but remember, you just work for what's right for you. So come forward to plank. Shunt shoulders to knuckles if you're going for your Chaturanga to your upward facing dog. Pushing through, lifting the sternum bone, taking the head up and back. Thighs engaged. Press the feet to the floor. Coming up into your Cobra if you're in the other version. And then everybody back to down dog. That's 1. Come forward to plank. If you're Chaturangaing, shunt shoulders to knuckles. Come down and hold. Either lower to Cobra or push through into your upward facing dog. Taking it back into downward facing dog. Remember, if you're coming up from Cobra, you're just making your way back. 1 more time. Come forward to plank. Shunt shoulders to knuckles. Drop into your Chaturanga or push through into your up dog. Straight away. Or come down to the floor and into your Bhujangasana Cobra. And back into your downward facing dog, everyone. Good. Now look towards your hands. Soften your knees. Do a little step or jump just part way up the mat. Okay, walk your hands back and extend your legs out in front of you. So sitting on the buttock bones, or pull the flesh of the buttocks back. find your sit bone. Let's engage the legs, so toes to shin bones, thigh muscles switched on. So front thighs contracted, back thighs broadening. Hands by the outer hips, lift the sternum bone, head level. Sitting in your Tadasana. Feeling that the front and the back of the body is connected, the pelvis is in neutral, and there's a strong dynamic lifting up from the pelvis to the head, and a strong dynamic moving from the pelvis to the feet. Extend the arms forward. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana arms. Lengthen as you press down into the legs, spread through those toes. Turn the arm bones externally, outwards. Draw them down behind your back and interlock your fingers. Straighten the arms if it's possible for you. Draw the shoulder blades together as the arm bones move back. Take a breath in. Hinge from the hips and come forward part way. So really switch the thighs. The movement in this forward fold is coming from the engagement of the legs. I haven't got my arms to reach my feet and pull me in. I've got to work through my thighs. Take a breath in, squeeze and contract, go forward some more. If that's your measure, stay there. Just drop your gaze to your knees, shins or thighs. If you've got a little bit more depth where you can go to, take a breath in, lift and lengthen, keep that front body long, contract the thighs, and go to your measure, bringing your head down in line with your spine. Keep the contraction of the front thighs, keep the dorsiflexion of the feet, toes to shin bones, push those heels away. Inhale, lift the head, look forward, come all the way up. Take the arms forward again, palms to face one another. Interlock the finger, Parsvakonasana arms. Push the palms out. Connect the little fingers and thumbs well in. Straighten the arms. Keep the spinal column connected and balanced, front and back, and extend the arms to the ceiling, palms up. If your spinal column has to compromise to do this move through the shoulders, then keep your arms further forward. Press down through the legs, press the hands to the ceiling as you press the back of the legs to the ground. Dorsiflex the feet, contract the front thighs. You're switched on, toe tips to fingertips. Bring the arms down, change the interlock. Slide the fingers along one. So your opposite little fingers on the outside. Push the palms away. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Lengthen all the way up. Again, keep the front and back body balanced. Press down through the back of the legs, contract through the front. Can you elevate yourself? Make yourself longer. Lengthen from pelvis to hands, lengthen from pelvis to feet. And then bring the hands down. Bring the hands into the center of the chest, into Namaste. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, release it out. Breath in. Breathe out through the mouth. One more time, breathe it in. Exhale, release through the mouth. Close the mouth. Let the eyes be open as you bring your hands to your thighs. And we're going to gently slide the legs apart and let the legs just relax. You can even get a hold of the inner legs and just pull them upwards away from the mat. So your legs are just softly externally rotating. Coming down onto your elbows, lifting your hips and just shuffling your buttocks away from the back of the head. Checking that you're in a straight line here, folks. So everything now is starting to switch off and be passive for your Shavasana. Spreading through those shoulder blades as you come down onto the mat. Taking your hands just outer hips, palms up, softness to the elbows and a small space between the arms and the trunk so that the air can circulate And there's no restriction around the armpits. And lastly, just lift the head, draw the chin in, and place the back of the skull on the ground. And then at this point, close your eyes. Feel the full connection of the ground beneath you. Feel the legs heavy, the arms relaxed by the sides. Just allowing the flesh to fall onto and away from the bone. So the body passively releasing. Letting go of all the contractions and the working that you've done through your practice. Letting everything just settle down. As you lie still and quiet and rested, just take a moment to observe the process of the mind and allow the thoughts and the images to just simply be. So you're just observing them. And we're going to start detaching from the thoughts and the images. We're going to bring our attention into the center of the chest, into the heart center. And I would like you to just focus your breath in that area. Feel as you inhale, the stomach inflate, the rib cage expand, there be a lift to the top chest. And feel as you exhale, there's a releasing and a contracting and a drawing in. Feel the space in the center of their chest expanding outwards. And feel the breath getting longer and deeper. And then taking yourself a stage further, where you keep your focus on the center of the chest, into the heart center. Just allow the breath to simply be, and you be present in the moment. And from this place, allow yourself to go deeper. Immerse yourself in your Shavasana as you let go and surrender fully. Good. Now just keeping the eyes closed, let the feeling of awareness return to your arms and your legs. Feel the heaviness of your limbs and the softness of the skin. And observe the fine energy that pervades the body. So our posture practice creates conscious awareness of our physical structure and of our mental and emotional body too. When we are consciously aware of what's going on, we can learn to respond to life rather than react. We can pick up the signals that we are being told so that we can adjust and make the changes necessary to keep ourselves safe and living wholesomely. Looking after ourselves and giving ourselves the much needed love and support that we need, for it has to come from within. Let your eyes softly open, let your gaze be upward, let your vision just widen. And then bring your hands to connect on your lower stomach. Allow the legs to bend, feet wide, knees together. Take a moment settling the lower back into the ground. And just take a moment to observe the space and the strength that you've created, not just physically but mentally too. Take a moment here before we roll onto our right side. So stepping the right foot to the left, rolling all the way over, using your top arm to support you, and allowing the right side of your body to just relax into the ground. So no rush to come up, just staying in this peaceful place for a moment or two longer. And then press through your left hand and carefully, keeping that gaze slightly down and in, ease your way back up to seated and come into your seated finish. Into a place where you can sit up with a straight spine, lengthen and stack the head on top of the spinal column. Bring the hands into the center of the chest to seal off your practice and lower the gaze to your fingertips. Let your eyes softly close. Take a moment to set your positive, uplifting intention for the rest of your day, choosing something that will serve you well. Allow your practice to be sealed with your silent namaste. Bow the head a little further. Let the eyes softly open. And then allow the head to lift and release the hands. Thank you very much, folks. Have a joyful day and be safe. Thank you.